Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Investment Trends, where we discuss what has happened in the market this week, what's going on from an investment standpoint, and what's going on in the economy. So this week, the week of October 23rd, 2023, was a big week for earnings reports. So we had some of the largest U.S. companies report earnings this week. Those companies include Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Visa, IBM, 3M, GM, all reported earnings this week for the market, and it gave us an indication a little bit about what these CEOs think is going on in the economy, and then also what's going on in those particular companies. So who were some of the winners this week? So Microsoft was a big winner this week, as they reported that their cloud computing software had a rise in revenue. So Microsoft was one of the people that were out in the forefront as far as the artificial intelligence trend went, by making a large investment into OpenAI and ChatGPT. And so far, that is paying off for their cloud computing side. Also, another big winner this week was Amazon. So Amazon, they reported that their profit margins have increased to one of the highest levels they have ever seen at 7.8%. That is second only to 2021 reports, when they were at 8.2% profit margin. So new CEO Andy Jaffe is very big into cost cutting. He mentions multiple times throughout the earnings call them becoming more efficient. And one of the things that he has done since last year, they've actually laid off 27,000 people in an effort to reduce costs at Amazon. And so far, that has paid off. The stock in pre-market trading was up about 6% on the day. Also, Microsoft was up about 4.5% in Wednesday trading. One of the biggest losers for this week was Google. So Google, or known by their parent company Alphabet, reported that they saw slower growth in their cloud computing. So at the same time that Microsoft saw a big boost, Google actually saw a bit of a drop. And what that led to was one of the worst days on record for the stock, as the stock was down as much as 9.5% in one day due to that poor earnings reports, and specifically in the cloud computing space. Some other news that we saw this week was some economic reports that came out. So GDP actually expanded to 4.9% for the third quarter. That is more than double what the GDP rate was for the second quarter this year. One of the things that we saw Friday morning as well was the PCE report, so the personal consumer expenditure report. We also saw what some of the other consumer spending reports were. So the PCE reading was up about 0.3% higher than expectations. The consumer spending, that actually rose by 0.7%. That is a little bit higher than what analysts were anticipating for those two numbers. So what that could mean for inflation, for what might happen with interest rates. So Fed Chair Jerome Powell, the market is pretty significantly pricing in that they will not raise interest rates at the next Fed meeting. However, they are not ruling out a 25 basis point increase for the last Federal Reserve meeting of the year, which will take place in December. So obviously, keeping an eye on these inflation reports is important for what direction the Federal Reserve will take things. Also, another thing to keep in mind as it comes to personal payroll and employees is that it's been reported that Ford may have reached an arrangement with the UAW to try to end those labor strikes. So what that could mean is higher wages for the auto workers, and essentially for what that would do to these auto companies would mean tighter margins. So something to look out for is looking at an overall macro trend. Where does payrolls go from here? If we continue to see higher payrolls, it could ultimately lead to higher inflation, making things even harder for the Federal Reserve. So there's a brief recap of what's going on in the market this week. If you have any additional thoughts, feel free to leave a comment, get a like, subscribe to the channel. Would be happy to discuss your investment portfolio with you.